I'm the most annoying guy on set because I'm saying, excuse me, you do realize that this should be happening and they wouldn't do that, and you haven't read this, that means this would be impossible. And everyone's just going, Henry, just shut up and do the thing. And I'm like, I don't want to do the thing because he wouldn't do it this way, and he can do this.
And you have a sense that you're going, is this really necessary?
The Witcher 4 trailer was supposed to be Netflix's big redemption moment, a fresh start for one of their most ambitious fantasy franchises. But instead, it's turned into a full-blown disaster. Within hours of the trailer dropping, the internet erupted, fans slamming every second of it, claiming the heart and soul of The Witcher had been ripped out the moment Henry Cavill walked away. Dislike ratios skyrocketed. Comment sections filled with people saying things like, "This doesn't even feel like The Witcher anymore," and "Netflix should have just ended the show when Henry left." Twitter threads exploded with edits comparing Henry's iconic stoic Geralt to Liam Hemsworth's version, which many said looked more like a fan-made parody than a professional production. But what if all that fan outrage wasn't just about nostalgia or loyalty? What if Henry Cavill knew something that made him leave when he did?
Yeah. And that's where you start to get more uncomfortable when you're thinking, There's not a performance here.
Because now, rumors are spreading that Henry didn't just walk away from the show, he walked away from someone. And just days after the trailer release, a single post from Henry Cavill himself sent shockwaves through the fandom. Subtle, cryptic, but devastating. It made fans believe the truth was much darker than anyone imagined. What did Henry say? And why are people claiming Liam Hemsworth's behavior on set might have been the real reason for all this chaos? Grab your potion and steel sword, because this story isn't about monsters from the continent. It's about betrayal, ego, and the downfall of a show that once ruled Netflix. When Netflix dropped The Witcher Season 4 trailer, they were confident it would silence the critics. Big budget, flashy new monsters, and a fresh take with Liam Hemsworth stepping in as Geralt of Rivia. But instead of applause, they got absolute carnage. Within an hour, dislikes started pouring in faster than views. Fans pointed out everything: Liam's stiff delivery, the awkward fight choreography, even his voice, which sounded off compared to Cavill's deep, commanding tone. Reddit threads lit up with comparisons, saying it felt like watching Geralt from Wish.com. Some even accused Netflix of using AI filters to make Liam look older and grittier, an attempt to copy Cavill's natural presence. The comment section on YouTube became a battlefield, filled with fans demanding Henry's return and calling Netflix's casting decision the worst move since Season 2's writing fiasco. But it didn't stop there. News outlets picked up the backlash within hours. Headlines read, "Fans reject Liam Hemsworth as Geralt," "Witcher 4 trailer bombs hard," and Cavill fans declare the series finished on arrival. Even former fans who once defended Netflix admitted something felt wrong. The lighting, the editing, the soul, everything was off. And right in the middle of this storm, Henry Cavill's name began trending again. Not because of nostalgia, but because fans started revisiting his old interviews, the ones where he subtly hinted at creative differences and frustration with how The Witcher was being handled. Suddenly, people began wondering, had Henry seen this coming all along? Because just 24 hours after the trailer dropped, he posted something that no one expected, and that changed everything. Passion without respect leads to chaos. A single line, posted without context on his Instagram story. No tags, no captions, no explanations. But to Witcher fans, it said everything, and that's when the whispers began. Was this a direct shot at Liam Hemsworth? Henry Cavill has always been the definition of class: polite, professional, and careful with his words. He never directly throws shade, never gets messy online. So when he posted that quote, fans instantly knew it meant something deeper. It wasn't random. It wasn't vague motivation. It was a message. Within hours, thousands of fans flooded Reddit, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter, breaking down every possible meaning. Some said it was directed at Netflix executives for disrespecting the source material, but most fans believed it was aimed straight at Liam Hemsworth. They claimed Henry's words, "Passion without respect leads to chaos," were his way of exposing the truth about what happened behind the scenes. And the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. Around the same time, a small but verified entertainment page posted that there had been tension during early Season 4 rehearsals. Allegedly, Liam tried to reimagine Geralt's personality, making him more sarcastic, lighter, and, according to the post, less stoic and more fun. But that creative choice clashed with the world Henry had helped build for 3 seasons. Fans began connecting the dots, claiming that Henry's frustration wasn't just about the writing, it was about the person replacing him. One viral TikTok with over 2 million views said, "Henry Cavill left because he saw what was coming. He didn't want to watch his legacy get destroyed by someone who didn't care." As social media ran wild with speculation, something else happened. Cavill deleted the post. No explanation, no comment, and that only fueled the fire more. Why delete it if it wasn't about Liam? Why post something that cryptic right as the trailer flopped? Fans began circulating alleged insider claims that Henry had warned the production team about casting Liam. Some said he described him as a good actor, but not the right soul for Geralt. Others claimed Cavill had already seen signs of ego clashes between Liam and the stunt team even before production officially began. Whether or not any of it was true didn't matter. The narrative had already formed. Henry Cavill had spoken. Liam Hemsworth was the villain, and the Witcher fandom had just chosen their side. But as the internet kept burning with theories, one question lingered in everyone's mind. If Henry's subtle post was just the beginning, what else did he know about what really happened on set? Because the next piece of information to leak out would turn this quiet feud into a full-on war. After Henry's cryptic post and the internet meltdown that followed, people started digging deeper, and what they uncovered only made things worse for Liam Hemsworth. Within days, sources close to production began surfacing across Reddit threads, fan forums, and entertainment blogs, all claiming there was serious drama on the set of The Witcher 4. One rumor in particular spread like wildfire, that Liam had been clashing with the crew from day one. According to an alleged lighting tech who spoke anonymously, Liam would show up late to set, demand script changes, and constantly reimagine Geralt's tone. He supposedly wanted to make the character more modern, more emotional, a version that fans described as Instagram Geralt. People who claimed to have worked under Cavill painted a completely different picture. Henry was known to memorize pages of dialogue, respect every stunt coordinator, and fight to keep The Witcher faithful to the books. Liam, on the other hand, allegedly treated it like just another gig. One viral post even said he would joke around during serious takes and argue about camera angles, frustrating the longtime crew who had grown used to Cavill's perfectionism. It didn't take long for fans to connect the dots between Henry's quiet exit and the rumored chaos Liam brought to the production. Some said that Cavill had already seen this coming, that he'd chosen to walk away rather than deal with a creative breakdown that was inevitable. Then came an even more shocking claim, that Liam had ignored advice from Cavill himself. According to a supposed insider, Henry had offered to mentor him before filming began, to help him find Geralt's presence and physical rhythm, but Liam declined, insisting he wanted to do it his own way. That one detail flipped the internet upside down. Fans called it disrespectful. TikTok edits spliced Henry's interviews about protecting the lore with Liam's smiling press shots, captioned with, "From a Witcher to a wannabe." Within a week, Liam went from being the new Geralt to the guy who ruined it all. Netflix stayed quiet, pretending nothing was wrong. But behind the scenes, leaks suggested morale on set was collapsing. The crew, reportedly exhausted by constant reshoots, started leaking even more dirt. One anonymous source allegedly told a journalist, "You can feel the tension every day. No one jokes anymore. People just want it to be over." And that's when Henry Cavill, the man who had stayed silent for months, decided to speak again. Not through a cryptic post this time, but through an interview that changed everything. Henry Cavill rarely does interviews that feel personal. He's always calm, diplomatic, the definition of British restraint. But this time, something was different. During what was supposed to be a routine chat about an upcoming project, the host brought up The Witcher, and you could practically feel the temperature in the room drop. Henry paused, smiled politely, and said, "I'll always be grateful for the experience." But sometimes passion isn't shared equally. That single line was enough to ignite the internet. It was the politest form of warfare possible, a sentence soaked in disappointment. He didn't mention Liam's name. He didn't have to. The fandom heard the message loud and clear. Clips of the interview went viral instantly, racking up millions of views overnight. The caption under every upload was the same: "Cavill just exposed Liam without saying a word." And then came the full quote, longer, sharper, and impossible to ignore. Henry said, "I've always believed that when you adapt something beloved, you owe the fans honesty. It's not about ego, it's about stewardship. If you stop respecting that, things fall apart." That word, ego, echoed across every platform. People froze it in memes, GIFs, TikTok stitches. Ego became the new weapon against Liam. Fans now believed the tension wasn't creative. It was personal. Henry was painted as the noble craftsman, Liam as the careless newcomer who didn't understand what he'd inherited. Hours later, multiple entertainment outlets began publishing articles claiming that crew members had backed Henry's statement. Anonymous insiders reportedly confirmed that there had been shouting matches between Liam and a senior stunt coordinator over Geralt's fighting style. Another claimed Liam refused to use Cavill's customized sword choreography because he wanted to make Geralt move differently. As more leaks dropped, the narrative became unstoppable. Liam was difficult, disrespectful, and out of his depth. Henry, meanwhile, was calm, articulate, and vindicated. Even major fan pages that had once defended Liam began to turn, captioning clips of Henry with, "He tried to warn us." And Netflix? Their silence spoke volumes. No denial, no clarification, just a quiet removal of certain behind-the-scenes promo clips featuring Liam. Fans noticed instantly, and that only confirmed their worst suspicions. By the end of that week, hashtags like #Cavill was right and #FireLiam were trending worldwide. The Witcher fandom had officially chosen its hero and its villain. But as wild as things had gotten, the story was far from over, because soon after that interview, more more voices from the set began speaking up. Some defended Liam, others doubled down on the chaos. And when the so-called crew leaks hit Reddit, everything spiraled into pure madness. After Henry's interview went viral, the internet turned into a battlefield. Fans demanded answers. Memes were everywhere. Hashtags calling for Liam's removal were climbing the charts. And right in the middle of it all, new voices started speaking up. Voices claiming to be from inside the production itself. At first, it was just whispers on Reddit. Anonymous accounts posting vague comments like, "You don't know half of what really went down." But then, the details started getting specific. Too specific to ignore. One user, claiming to be a former production assistant, wrote that Liam had been a nightmare on set. He allegedly dismissed direction, refused to do retakes, and once even snapped at a stunt double for making him look slow. That comment blew up overnight, gaining thousands of upvotes. And then came more. Another supposed crew member claimed that Liam constantly challenged the costume and props teams, saying he didn't like Geralt's armor and demanded new fittings every week. Someone else posted that Liam had complained about the long hours, calling it unrealistic compared to his previous projects. By now, it wasn't just fan speculation, it was turning into a full-blown PR nightmare for Netflix. Entertainment blogs began publishing articles titled, "Crew members turn on Liam Hemsworth," and The Witcher set reportedly in chaos. But one alleged post took everything to another level. It claimed that Liam once roasted Henry Cavill's fans during filming, joking that they were obsessed nerds who couldn't move on. The second that screenshot hit Twitter, the fandom lost it. Fans were furious. TikToks appeared comparing Henry's quiet professionalism to Liam's alleged arrogance. One even cut together behind-the-scenes clips of Cavill training with the stunt team beside a caption that read, "Respect versus ego." And if Netflix thought things couldn't get worse, they were wrong. Because within hours, an unverified insider leak hit a fan page with screenshots of an internal email supposedly from Netflix execs. The message allegedly warned employees to avoid engaging in public discourse regarding The Witcher backlash. It also mentioned internal concerns about tone and leadership on set. Fans didn't need proof. The narrative was already set in stone. In their eyes, Henry Cavill had been the heart of The Witcher. Liam Hemsworth was the virus that broke it. The Witcher 4 trailer became a symbol of betrayal, and every frame of it, every close-up of Liam's Geralt, only reminded people of what had been lost. And as pressure kept mounting, Netflix finally snapped. When the online backlash reached boiling point, Netflix's silence became impossible to maintain. The Witcher's official Twitter account had already turned off replies. Comments under the trailer were flooded with thousands of fans demanding bring back Cavill. And within a week, the trailer, once meant to reignite the franchise, became one of Netflix's most disliked uploads of all time. Internally, reports claimed executives were in chaos. Emergency meetings were held. Damage control strategies were discussed. A PR spokesperson allegedly advised against any direct response, saying that addressing fan hysteria only validates it. But behind closed doors, Netflix was panicking. People close to the production claimed there were talks of reshoots. One leak even suggested that entire scenes featuring Liam were being re-edited to tone down his dialogue, trying to make his performance look more Geralt, less Liam. Rumors of additional CGI touch-ups began circulating, with fans speculating that Netflix was digitally altering Liam's facial expressions to make him look grittier. And then came the most shocking rumor yet, that Netflix was considering postponing the release of The Witcher 4, originally set for October 30th. Some claimed the streaming giant wanted time to rebuild fan trust. Others believed they were looking for a way to pivot the marketing entirely, focusing less on Liam and more on the legacy of Cavill. But nothing screamed desperation louder than what happened next. Netflix released a vague statement on social media. "We're proud of our cast and crew, and we can't wait for fans to see the story continue. The Witcher is bigger than any one person." It was meant to sound confident, but it only poured gasoline on the fire. Fans interpreted it as a shot at Henry. Replies flooded in. "Yeah, bigger than one person," until that person left and the show finished. The statement was deleted within hours, replaced by silence. Meanwhile, Liam Hemsworth reportedly unfollowed the official Witcher account. Tabloid headlines screamed that he'd cut ties with the marketing team. Some even claimed he'd stopped attending promotional meetings altogether. The whispers of him being difficult now turned into full-blown theories that Netflix might actually fire him before Season 5. Fan pages began posting countdowns, not to The Witcher 4's release date, but to the inevitable announcement. Memes labeled Liam as Geralt of Regret. And through it all, Henry Cavill remained silent, watching from the shadows while the empire he once carried began to crumble without him. By the end of the month, Netflix's share of fan sentiment had completely collapsed. The Witcher subreddit was locked multiple times for bad discourse. Entertainment insiders described the situation as irrecoverable. And yet, through all the chaos, everyone knew one thing for sure. Henry Cavill hadn't said his last word. Because when he finally broke his silence one last time, everything would explode. After weeks of silence, no posts, no interviews, no reactions, Henry Cavill finally broke his silence. But as always, he did it his way. Calm, articulate, and devastatingly precise. One quiet afternoon, he uploaded a photo to Instagram. No promo material, no flashy lighting, just a candid shot of him sitting in a garden, script in hand, with a caption that read, "Protect what you love, even when others don't understand why it matters." That single line was enough to shake the entire fandom. Within minutes, the post exploded. Millions of likes, hundreds of thousands of comments, and a storm of speculation. Fans dissected every word like scripture. What did others mean? Was he referring to Netflix, to Liam, to The Witcher itself? The timing couldn't have been more perfect. The studio was crumbling under fan outrage, and suddenly Cavill's quiet message landed like a precision strike. Entertainment sites immediately spun headlines. Henry Cavill finally speaks out, and he's not holding back. Was Cavill's new post the final nail in Netflix's coffin? But the real bombshell wasn't the post. It was what came next. Just hours after it went live, a verified industry insider tweeted that Henry had privately turned down an offer to make a cameo in The Witcher 4's finale. The offer reportedly came with a huge paycheck and creative flexibility. Cavill's alleged response? A polite but firm no. That refusal hit the fandom harder than any statement could have. To them, it was proof that Henry was done. Not just with the show, but with the way Netflix had handled it. He wasn't looking back. He was moving on with integrity. And the kicker? His team then confirmed that he had signed on to produce a brand new fantasy series, one based directly on a classic book series that fans had been begging to see him adapt for years. To Cavill's supporters, it was poetic justice. He'd walked away from a sinking ship and was now building something entirely his own. The internet crowned him the People's Witcher, a man who didn't need the title to carry the legacy. Meanwhile, Liam's silence grew deafening. No statements, no appearances, no interviews. Paparazzi photos showed him looking drained and distant, only fueling rumors that he'd been advised to step back. The fandom's verdict was clear. Henry Cavill didn't just win the moral war, he reclaimed his legacy. But as his post continued to circulate, one haunting question lingered in every comment section, every Reddit thread, every fan podcast. If Henry knew it was this bad, what else happened on that set? By the time October 30th rolled around, The Witcher Season 4 was no longer a highly anticipated release. It was a ticking time bomb. Every trailer, every teaser, every poster was met with roast and memes. Fans organized boycott hashtags, urging others to cancel their Netflix subscriptions. The once proud fantasy epic had become the internet's favorite cautionary tale. Netflix tried to stay composed, but insiders painted a different picture. One of chaos, divided executives, and panicked strategy calls. There were even whispers that the company was considering quietly shelving the next season entirely. For a billion-dollar streaming empire, that was unthinkable. But the damage was done. Henry Cavill's shadow loomed over everything. Even without him, he was the heartbeat of the conversation. Every new clip was compared to his performance. Every review mentioned his absence. Liam's Geralt wasn't being judged on merit. He was being measured against a legend. And when the first wave of early reviews hit, the headline said it all. A soulless sequel. The Witcher loses its magic. Cavill's absence is the real monster here. The show's fate was sealed. Fans didn't just dislike it, they rejected it. The internet declared Henry Cavill the true Witcher forever. But here's the part that no one expected. The silence after the storm. Henry never gloated. He never corrected anyone. He never threw shade. He simply moved on, posting photos from his new project, smiling, focused, content. Meanwhile, the once mighty Witcher brand faded into meme territory. Netflix's marketing team quietly shifted focus to new shows. Liam Hemsworth disappeared from the spotlight. And yet, Henry's name, the man who had supposedly moved on, still trended every single time someone mentioned The Witcher. In the end, it wasn't just about fantasy or streaming wars or one bad casting decision. It was about something much deeper. The battle between passion and corporate control. Between someone who loved the story and someone who just played it. Because when Henry Cavill walked away, fans didn't just lose their favorite Geralt, they lost the last piece of what made The Witcher feel real. And now, as the dust settles and the fandom looks back at what went wrong, one truth remains unshakable. Henry Cavill didn't leave The Witcher. The Witcher left Henry Cavill. And maybe that's a story no amount of trailers can ever fix.